All right guys, on today's video, we're gonna talk about something a little bit different. My shoes. Yes, that's right. I do wear these Vibram 5-finger shoes. And there's been some hate in the comments section about the shoes and things that I wear. And first off, here's the thing. I don't give a fuck. Easy as that. First off, I do not care what you think on what I wear or do, okay? You can make your comments, whatever. I'm still gonna do it. I'm not gonna change it because there's a societal norm that's unhealthy to the human species as we know it. That's my opinion, and that's just basically the facts that I've come to understand. So if you look at feet, particularly on the modern society, they're very unhealthy. If you look at people, we're very unhealthy, and that's predominantly for two main reasons. Number one, because we sit in chairs all day long, and evolutionarily, we should not be doing that. And number two, because we wear these things on our shoes, called shoes. Feet, the things on our feet called shoes, and they put all the toes, they push them to the front, and in women it's even worse. You've got the high heels, inflexibility, and why do you think all of these people are running around with flat feet and jacked up hips and backs and all that kind of stuff? So here I am running around in the world, everywhere in the world, in the back of a Lamborghini where I'm sitting a lot, and the last thing I need is also to have a shitty shoe on my feet. So I'm going to do as many things as I physically can to strengthen everything in my body to be the most healthy that I can be for this journey around the world and for future and longevity. Now that means predominantly I run around barefoot, but in a lot of towns there's just lots of debris and gross things on the ground, so I do opt for some sort of footwear, which in my case is these Vibram shoes. Now if you need a homeless person traveling around the world living in the back of a Lamborghini to tell you that evolutionarily your body is not created to wear shoes, then you need to wake up and start doing some research and take charge of your health. Now I have taken charge of my health and doing things that I've understood from all of the research that we currently have at hand to prolong and have a healthy, long-lasting lifestyle. Now the way I look at shoes is from a construction background, because that is my background in construction, both residential and commercial. And you cannot build a building without a proper foundation. Think about that. So the foundation to the body is the feet. You're standing on them. So if you stand a little catawampus, everything else is going to be out of alignment. So it starts at the feet and it goes up. And you cannot have a good foundation without a big, widespread footing. So if you understand construction and things like that, that'll help you in understanding this. Imagine you have this big, huge, imagine the pyramids, right? Imagine the pyramids. It's a point, goes down wider. That's very, very strong because it's wider at the bottom than to the top. Now imagine you flip that upside down, you make it really narrow and wide at the top, it's going to want to tip over. It's the same thing with the human body. If you have these big, widespread feet like you see on lots of indigenous people and tribes around the world, they're going to have a very healthy structure above that's very aligned and balanced. Balance on one foot, you can't see, but you know, this kind of stuff. And that's because you have this widespread footing. It's the same thing if you're building a house. You don't have this long, skinny wall of the crawl space or the basement just straight into the ground because it's going to sink, it's going to tilt over, things like that. You have this thing called a spread footing. Well, it's the same thing in the feet. Wider spread toes are healthier. Now you see all of these people now having bunions and bunion issues and all that. And when I go around and run in like a regular running shoe, sure, it's great, it's cushy, it's cozy, it doesn't strengthen any of the muscles in my foot. And in fact, it actually pushes all of the tendons and the muscles and the bones and everything to a very unhealthy positioning. Now, there are companies out there that I've seen, and I'm not sponsoring or condoning any of these companies at all, but I'm just knowing of them, like Vivo Barefoot. I believe they have a wider front end on the shoe. Now, I have not worn these. I have not purchased these, so I don't know, but that's a possible idea. But from an evolutionary standpoint, we have not adapted to wear modern shoes and have a healthy structure and body. So if you want to be taking the charge and leading that evolutionary change, that's more power on you, but I'm not going to fight against the evolution in which my body is here existing for tens of thousands of years. Now, there is an argument that people have been wearing shoes for tens of thousands of years. That has been proven to be true, from certain things like sandals to little leather, sole, flats, little just very basic things over the years. Yes, the Romans had shoes, and there's been, bodies found in the mountains and glaciers and things that had some sort of leather, foot protector in the Nordic countries and things like that for thousands of years. That's proven. The thing about it is that was for certain reasons, to protect your feet against the road, and not the road, against the rocks and debris and sticks and cold and things like that. But when you have your foot cramped up in this modern plastic built shoe, you can't breathe. The skin of the feet, they can't breathe, so you get foot odor and all these other athlete's foot and all that kind of stuff. Number one. Number two, you don't have this strong foundation. And if you look at the shoes from way back, it does have a better spread footing. But these modern shoes, these pointy boots and stuff that came from fairs with people going cuckoo and spinning in cartwheels and stuff, breathing fire in the street fairs, the carnivals, the carnies from back in the day. I think that's where these pointed shoes originally came from in some medieval times, and things like that. And it's just not healthy. It's not healthy. The Chinese, they bind up the women's feet and they put in a shoe, these high heels. They're not healthy. Now, if you want to not believe that, go look at any woman that's a dancer or that wears high heels all the time. They have the most disgusting looking feet you've ever seen in your life. Why? Because they're cramped up in a shoe. And all the rest of us were cramped up in a shoe. Now, maybe the shoe is less cramped than, a high heel, but it's still cramped up in a shoe. So the best thing you can do, in my opinion, from what I've come to understand, is to go out in the world, in a field, wherever you can, and walk around barefoot, because you strengthen all of the ligaments in the shoe. Now, there's a ton of arguments with scientific basis about running barefoot. Now, obviously, depending on where you live, there may be glass or rocks or things on the ground, and you need to work your way up to it. You can't just run around barefoot, because it's a lot of muscle movement and strain on your ligaments in your foot. Now, you should obviously do whatever you think is best for your body, but what I've come to understand is that strengthening my feet by being barefoot, or when I need to wear these 5-finger toe shoes, then that is what I will do, because that's what I know to be the right thing. So again, you guys can keep making your comments in the comment section about shoes or clothes or whatever, and I need to get some organic cotton, non-dyed clothes. I would love to be putting better things on my skin, such as that, so that's something next to come. But yeah, ultimately, don't care what you think about what I wear. Don't care what people think when they walk in and I have these shoes, and little kids, oh, what are those weird things and all that. You guys can, if you want, you can keep sitting in the chairs with your hunched over posture at your computer and your terrible high heel shoes, and just have horrible posture. And in 40 years, let's recap. We'll talk, and you'll be, and I'll be like, all right, let's do some jumping jacks. I'm 80 years old, let's go. So you decide what you want to do with your body. I'll decide what I want to do with my body. I won't shame you. You won't shame me. I might make fun of you, especially when you're decrepit because you've done things that you shouldn't have done just because it looks better for society. So anyway, that's today's video. And yeah, I'm here camped out in the back of the Lambo in a field in Southampton, England. So if you guys want to see more normal Lamborghini camping around the world content, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the like button as well. And I am literally taking this Lamborghini that I live in all the way around the world while living in the back. It's fun. It's a journey. It's an adventure. In fact, Southampton is where the Titanic set out. Check it out. Google it. Okay, bye.